What's up, Star Wars fans? My name is Prince and I'm an urban acolyte. In this video, I want to respond to some comments that came as a result of this Luke Skywalker meme that's going around Facebook as some sort of evidence of how Rian Johnson assassinated Luke Skywalker's character in The Last Jedi. Now, my initial comments upon seeing the meme were pointing out how people leave out parts of the story to make their case. A bunch of people who obviously feel some kind of way about how Luke's portrayal did not live up to their expectations jumped all over the post. But they made my point when they made their argument, because they also managed to ignore parts of the story in order to prove their point. So I realize this might trigger some people who feel like Luke not being a badass Jedi warrior ruined their childhood or made Star Wars completely awful. So I'd better get out some information before some of those sensitive people get mad at me and stop watching forever. So, hey, if you're new here, I talk about Star Wars. This isn't your typical Star Wars channel discussing those fan theories and rumors and Star Wars trivia. Or if you're like this one dude who I won't mention, you just make up the news 5 times a day. I talk about the themes in Star Wars and I try to give you guys real life lessons and something to chew on. I debunk popular fan theories and people get mad at me. And I try to show people how the direction of Star Wars really doesn't matter, because if you take all that cool stuff you love about Star Wars and you apply it to your real life, then you're going to win automatically regardless of what they do with the story. Hey, if what I'm doing sounds cool to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel and enable notifications to stay up to date on what's happening over here. And also about that whole applying stuff from Star Wars to your real life. Hey, y'all, I'm putting together a brand new program for Star Wars fans who want to lose at least 10 pounds and get in some great shape over the next 60 days before the Rise of Skywalker hits theaters in December. I'm looking for 5 people to test it out at a huge discount. So, to help me work out the kinks in the program and get some amazing results that I can use as a case study. So if that's you, I need you to do 2 things. Comment, tell me more in the comments. And then I need you to contact me on the Urban Acolyte Facebook page, over on Instagram, or my Twitter account. And if you don't do social media, then just shoot me an email at info@urbanacolyte.com, because I cannot contact you through these YouTube comments. I can't do it. I want to, but I can't. Look, spots are starting to fill up. So you need to not wait on this. I'm for real. That's not a marketing thing. They are filling up. But okay, so about this Luke Skywalker thing. So the problem with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi is that people went into this movie with unrealistic expectations of Luke Skywalker. They went into this movie with an unrealistic expectation of the Jedi. I'm going to go so far as to say that people don't know what a Jedi actually is and what the Jedi stood for. I think the first issue here is that we call them Jedi Knights. Yeah, these guys carry laser swords and they are these great fighters, but people forget that the Force isn't like a magic power and the Jedi aren't some kind of paladin from a fantasy game. The Jedi are members of a religious order. These are supposed to be monks who promote harmony with the Force. The problem with the Jedi is they became a state-sponsored religion being supported by the Republic. And they allowed the Republic to turn them into their personal police. I mean, that's awesome if the Jedi were the Green Lantern Corps, but that's not what they are. That's not what they were designed to be. And this is why they fell. It's like Bendu said, perhaps it was the will of the Force for the Jedi and their kind to fall, because they weren't serving the will of the Force. They served the orders of the Republic. Look, y'all, Luke Skywalker was not a warrior. He was never going to be a warrior the minute he realized that he would become more powerful by accepting that the Emperor could take his life, but he would never be corrupted by the dark side of the Force. Now, the problem here is this. It took Luke overcoming his anger to calm himself to reach this realization in Return of the Jedi. It took Luke to reach this realization in Ben Solo's hut when he nearly struck down his nephew. See, Luke has this tendency to get angry and act on the anger, but then he'll catch himself, right? Catch yourself before you rickety wreck yourself. Now, I don't expect you guys to know about Buddhist teachings or something that the Dalai Lama talked about when it comes to anger, this exact topic, but I mean Star Wars is only supported and inspired by these teachings, but it's not like we ever see them play out in Star Wars. No. Never that. So the thing is, just because you meditate and become enlightened, maybe you become a Jedi Master, you're still prone to anger, y'all. Whatever character flaws that you had before, you don't just become immune to them. They don't just go away. What happens is you become more conscious of your flaws, more aware of them. That thing that made you fly off the handle when you were young can still make you fly off the handle when you were an old enlightened master. The difference is you catch yourself, you become aware, but you can still be prone to those same things that made you angry as a young person. So to say Luke was out of character in The Last Jedi is pure fallacy. Luke acted exactly according to character. When the Emperor said Luke's friends would die, he was taunting him in true Sith fashion, and Luke drew his lightsaber and he attacked Darth Sidious. When Luke realized what he was doing and attempted to take a passive path during his duel with Vader, Vader read his mind. He pulled the information about his sister, and Vader threatened to turn Leia to the dark side. What did Luke do? He responded out of fear. He responded out of anger, out of hate. And he nearly killed his father. The thing he said he couldn't do. The thing he said he would not do. And that's not the first time that Luke gave in to his anger either. He nearly got himself killed in his first duel with Vader just after the events in A New Hope. That's what set Vader on the path of discovering that Luke was indeed his son when he took Luke's lightsaber from him and realized that Obi-Wan had given his lightsaber to Luke after he kept it from the battle on Mustafar. And hey, if what I'm saying is all new to you, hey, it's in the first issues of the new Star Wars comic book by Marvel that depicts the events in the 3-year gap between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Now, we can also look at Luke in the cave on Dagobah. Yoda told Luke that he would not need his weapon to go into the cave because Yoda knew Luke would see, whatever Luke would see was what the dark side needed to show him. And it would only be an illusion, and it was up to Luke to decide how to act. Now, something I never thought about until just now is that Luke criticized Rey for going straight to the dark side on Ahch-To, but Luke went into that cave looking for a fight. He went into the cave looking to kill Vader. Basically, he went straight to the dark side. And what happened is that Luke went in there, he took Vader's head off. And when the mask exploded, he saw his own face. Because if he continued down this path, if he killed Vader, who he would soon learn was part of him and his father, he would take Vader's place. He would kill a part of his own self, and he would suffer the same fate that Anakin suffered. This is the path that Luke would pursue if he continued to act on his anger. Because, hey, we learned from Chirrut Îmwe that the Force is dark around someone when they are about to kill. If you go looking to fight and to kill, you will always be a servant of the dark side. And it seems that Luke was weakest to the dark side when he was afraid for himself, when he was afraid for his friends, and especially when he was afraid for his sister. So for Luke to be susceptible to the dark side in a similar situation is totally not out of character for Luke. What, you think just because he got old, he became immune to being worried for his friends and his loved ones, and especially his sister? No way, Jose. Now, the next problem people had with Luke Skywalker is that he quit, because a Jedi never quits. This is something people say they got from Mark Hamill, and hey, maybe Mark Hamill did say this. Luke would never quit because Jedi don't quit. Except the thing is, Jedi kind of quit all the time. We learned about the bearish vow where Jedi take some kind of penance to pay for past transgressions and they go into hiding to meditate on the Force. Yoda went into hiding on Dagobah to focus on the path to immortality and wait to train Leia. Obi-Wan went into hiding on Tatooine and to look after Luke. Now, I wouldn't exactly call what they did quitting. But what happened is they chose the path of non-action. And it's the same thing that Luke did. Luke didn't quit, y'all. What happened is he learned the history of the Jedi and how their past failures always led to suffering on a massive scale. Now, it's easy as a Star Wars geek to just look at the Jedi Sith Wars, the Jedi Crusades that are part of this new canon, the Clone Wars, the destruction of Alderaan, and the Rebellion. They're like these cool things. It's just a story, right? But think about these characters in the stories. Put yourself in their place and how they would feel if they were responsible for this suffering on a mass scale, galaxy-wide suffering. Luke looked into Ben Solo's mind and he saw the future. He saw the things that Ben was going to do once he completely fell to the dark side, and Luke wanted to put an end to it in that moment. What Luke did was choose the path of non-action. By his logic, if he removes the Jedi from the equation, this situation where a Jedi falls to the dark side and wrecks the galaxy, hey man, it'll go away eventually. So it wasn't quitting on the galaxy or running from the resistance. It was the path of non-action. In all situations, look, you have a choice. You can engage, you cannot engage. If you don't engage, then what's the reason you don't engage? Well, I'm afraid if I engage, they'll beat me, so I won't engage. I'm not interested enough to engage. I'm not there, so therefore I can't engage because I'm not there, right? There are many reasons to not engage. And just because you choose not to engage does not make you a coward. Just because someone chooses not to engage doesn't mean they quit. Not engaging is simply not engaging. If you choose a path to not act, or if I choose a path to not act, then I'm not going to engage because I'm not acting. Here's the thing. Luke chose not to engage. He chose a path of non-action. But then he chose to act without acting. He confronted the First Order without confronting the First Order. He fought without fighting. Didn't Bruce Lee say that in Enter the Dragon? That Australian or New Zealander guy asked about Bruce Lee's style, and Lee said, I practice the art of fighting without fighting. That guy asked Bruce Lee to show him, so Lee told him they would practice on that smaller boat, and that Australian or New Zealand guy gets on the smaller boat, and Bruce Lee unties the boat. Now that guy was a hothead, so Lee let him cool off and humble himself. The art of fighting without fighting. That guy needed to fight with his own ego, and Bruce Lee wasn't going to engage that guy's ego in his delusions of grandeur. Now, the last problem that people point out that they had with Luke Skywalker has to do with their belief that Mark Hamill did not like Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. See, what actually happened is they took Mark Hamill's comments completely out of context. Yes, Mark said, I fundamentally disagreed with everything Ryan did with Luke's character. He said that initially, but then he went on to say, after looking at the entire script and talking with Ryan about Luke's journey up to this point, that he no longer felt that way. He said, look, at the end of the day, I just want to make a good movie, and I was worried that people wouldn't like the changes, but I'm okay with them. But see how people will leave that part out of their argument? I mean, it's intellectual dishonesty, and these fanboys do it all the time. They should collect their fanboy tears and make a drink called intellectual dishonesty. Hey man, sell that shit. I won't even charge commission on the idea. Go on and do it, geeks and gamers. I mean, even Mark Hamill was initially wrong. Like, Luke did not give up. He came back and made things right after his own teacher had to point out that Luke, like, you become a master in your own right, but you're still the same boy who missed the moon because of the finger. You always look at the minutia, but you don't see the bigger picture, or you worry about the bigger picture and forget about the here and now, right? So Luke, like, just focus on what you're doing right now. The time for the Jedi in the old way, that's over. Raise the new generation, and it's her time to pick up where we failed and start a new chapter for the Jedi. It's up to you to make it possible for her to do that, Luke. And that's what Luke did. And he did it all through a path of non-action, a path of non-resistance. Now, someone told me that they need to see their heroes bigger than life. And the inconsistency in what they're saying is that Luke exactly did something bigger than life. But because he didn't run wild with a lightsaber and some crazy display of the Force, it wasn't bigger than life for them. Look, the Jedi are not warriors. Didn't I say that at the beginning of the video? The Sith are warriors. I mean, you literally have a Sith warrior class in the video games. The Force is not for attack, only for defense. Isn't that what Yoda said? I mean, it's crazy how when you listen to these arguments, you quickly find out how little people understand about the Jedi and the Force. And I guarantee anyone watching this is disagreeing with me, you will flat out lose. You will get your ass kicked in a debate with me on this topic. Guarantee it. I know because a guy came right here to my house He was looking to buy my house, and we had this conversation in my living room. And he got shut the fuck down. He said Luke was a pussy. I asked him why he felt that way. He said Luke chose not to fight. He was hiding like a pussy. I said, but who was Luke gonna fight? If he went out looking for Snoke, how would he fight the entire First Order fleet with an X-Wing and a lightsaber? Luke didn't have a fleet of ships. His only way to fight the First Order would be through careful planning. Okay, so what if Luke decided to take the fight to the First Order? What would it prove? What would it accomplish? I mean, what if Luke fought the First Order by pulling off a miracle that would cause people within the First Order to lose faith and empower people to not fear the First Order? I mean, didn't Batman say something about it being more powerful to become a symbol? Luke did the impossible, and we saw that story of what he did quickly spread even to slave children on a casino planet. These kids should not have had any hope at all, but the new hope from when their parents were children is now giving them hope to rise above their current stations in life. I mean, I really think people who have a problem with Luke Skywalker don't understand what it means to be a Jedi, and they don't really understand Star Wars at all. I mean, what? Luke was supposed to fight and unleash the Force? Go pull out your Xbox and go play Galen Merrick in The Force Unleashed. I mean, yeah, like, listen, true strength is in yielding. That's a Tai Chi principle. And I know people get tired of me talking about Tai Chi principles and Taoist philosophy, Zen philosophy, all these Eastern ideas when it comes to Star Wars. But guess what, Amanda? Those Eastern ideas are the foundation of the Jedi and the Force. You don't have to like it, but it doesn't change anything. That guy who made the Luke is a pussy argument got questioned about Taoist philosophy and how those teachings were embodied by Luke Skywalker in his journey. And he stopped all that talking nonsense. Maybe by the end, he just said, this guy's into some crazy Chinese stuff. Because, I mean, hey, this is Tennessee in the Bible Belt where people ask your name and then they follow it up with, where do you go to church? And maybe everything I said completely went over his head. Maybe he dismissed it, but it didn't make it any less true. I mean, at the end of the day, to quote Freddie Prinze Jr., who voiced Kanan Jarrus in Star Wars Rebels, look, this is all art. We all interpret art the way we want to interpret art. I have no desire to convince anyone of how they should view Luke Skywalker or The Last Jedi. And this is not an attempt to prove anything. I'm only pointing out what people say their problem is with Luke Skywalker and The Last Jedi and why it really doesn't make sense from my point of view with my background and my understanding of these real world teachings that are being embodied in Star Wars. I mean, at the end of the day, people like what they like. I like Thai food. I have a friend living and working in Thailand and he hates Thai food. Now, whether I'm at my favorite Thai spot in Nashville or eating with a spicy hot Thai lady in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, or Pattaya, it's not like I'm going to ask that guy to eat my food. Maybe some of y'all hate Thai food. Oh, well, I like it. I'm not asking you to eat it. I mean, to go a step further, if I like Thai women and you say you don't find Asian women to be attractive, oh, well, it's not like I'm asking you to sleep with them. How will my actions impact your life at all? It's just like if I say that I understood what was happening with Luke Skywalker's character and I like The Last Jedi, people say, oh, Prince, I've lost faith in you. First of all, who the hell are you? Why should I care about you having faith in me? Look, if I pick my boogers and flick them in the outtakes of this video, how will that impact your life? It won't. So like I said, this video, this channel, these are my thoughts. I post them, people watch them. At the end of the day, I was posting these videos when no one was watching, and I'll post them if 1 million people watch them. It's all the same to me. I'm just going to do what I do, man. So that's really all I have to say on this topic. It's no big deal to me, but I won't be surprised if there's comments from people getting in their feelings and throwing tantrums. I mean, I kind of expect it. So y'all folks who are interested in this training thing, and make sure to speak up so I actually be able to see your posts and get in touch with you about getting in on this Jedi training program before the spots fill. So, hey, if you like this video, hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you have something to share with the Urban Acolyte community, post it down below in the comments. and I'll be checking back to see what you have to say. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. Embark on the journey to become the hero of your own story and become a force for change in your community. Hey, if you like this video and you want to see more, be sure to check out these videos on the top theories for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. You can also check out this other video that YouTube has picked just for you. But anyway, that's all I got for this one, so thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing. May the force of others be with you. Always.